Why most relationships fail and what nobody tells you about it. Most people think relationships fail because of the big things: cheating, betrayal, falling out of love, someone leaving for someone else. But the truth is, that's not really why most relationships end. Most relationships don't collapse from one huge betrayal. They slowly die from 1,000 tiny wounds no one ever talks about. The missed glances, the silent resentment, the conversations avoided because it's not a big deal. The emotional needs that go unmet, not out of cruelty, but out of fear, pride, or simple unawareness. And by the time the big breakup moment happens, the relationship was already falling apart long before either person dared to say it out loud. But here's the part no one prepares you for. It's not just about what happened, it's about what stayed hidden. In this video, I'm going to break down why most relationships really fail. The emotional patterns, the psychological blind spots, the silent killers that ruin even the most perfect love stories, and most importantly, what you can do differently, so you don't just love harder next time, but love smarter. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Let's get started. Before we dive into what really causes relationships to fall apart, let's quickly bust a few myths that keep so many people stuck and heartbroken. Myth 1. People just fall out of love. It's not that simple. Love doesn't just vanish overnight. It erodes when emotional needs are consistently ignored. Myth 2. Someone better came along. Most of the time, new relationships feel exciting because they're new, not because the other person is actually better or more compatible. Myth 3. It just wasn't meant to be. Blaming fate is comforting, but it also lets us avoid looking at the patterns and choices that led to the breakdown. Believing these myths might ease the pain short term, but it also stops us from seeing the deeper emotional truths that could actually heal us and help us build something real next time. So if it's not just cheating, boredom, or falling out of love, what actually causes most relationships to fail? It usually comes down to emotional patterns we never learn to recognize or fix. Let's break it down. 1. Emotional avoidance. Early on, small feelings get pushed aside. You feel hurt, but don't bring it up. You feel disconnected, but pretend you're fine. You start feeling unseen, but say, it's not worth a fight. Over time, these small moments pile up until emotional intimacy quietly erodes. A relationship can't survive when emotions are buried instead of shared. 2. Poor communication, masked as normal. It's not just yelling matches that destroy love, it's the conversations that never happen. Silent treatment, sarcasm, passive-aggressive comments instead of honest dialogue. People normalize bad communication because it feels safer than being vulnerable, but the cost is deep emotional distance. 3. Unresolved individual trauma. We all carry wounds from our past, from childhood, from previous relationships, even from societal expectations. If we don't heal those wounds, we bleed on the people who didn't cut us. Fear of abandonment becomes control. Fear of not being good enough turns into defensiveness. Past betrayal turns into distrust, even when the new person hasn't earned it. Relationships don't heal trauma, they reveal it. 4. Mistaking chemistry for compatibility. Attraction feels powerful, but chemistry alone isn't enough. It might make sparks fly, but without emotional alignment, shared values, and real emotional safety, the fire burns out just as fast. And by the time couples realize that passion isn't the same as partnership, it's often too late. The truth is, most relationships don't fail from a single explosion. They fail slowly, invisibly, from emotional needs going unmet, from patterns left unchecked, from wounds left unhealed. Most relationships don't break because of some dramatic explosion. They slowly bleed out, one unnoticed emotional pattern at a time. It's not the big fights you remember that kill a relationship. It's the silent habits you don't notice until the connection is already gone. Let's look at the hidden patterns that quietly tear love apart. 1. Ignoring early emotional needs. In the beginning, it's easy to brush off discomfort. You feel unheard, but you tell yourself it's no big deal. You feel rushed, but you don't want to seem needy. You feel lonely next to them, but you convince yourself it's just a phase. Those emotional needs don't disappear. They just grow quieter, until they become resentments you can't hide anymore. 2. Internalized fears. Start running the show. Everyone has fears. Fear of being left. Fear of not being enough. Fear of getting hurt again. And if those fears aren't faced head-on, they start driving the relationship. You become clingy, chasing reassurance. You become cold, pushing them away before they can leave. You sabotage good moments because you're waiting for them to hurt you. The relationship becomes about managing fear, not building love. 3. Attachment styles clash without awareness. Most people have no idea how their attachment style affects the way they connect. Anxious partners crave closeness but fear rejection. Avoidant partners crave independence but fear being smothered. Without awareness, these styles collide, creating a toxic push-pull dynamic where nobody feels truly safe or understood, and slowly connection is replaced by confusion. 4. Resentments grow in silence. It's not the fight about who left the dishes out, it's what the dishes represent. Feeling unheard, feeling disrespected, feeling invisible. And when small resentments aren't addressed early, they don't stay small. They become the emotional wall you can't climb over later, no matter how much you love each other. Bottom line, it's not bad luck or bad timing that dooms most relationships. It's bad emotional habits left unspoken, unmanaged, and unresolved. And the saddest part? Most couples don't even realize what's happening until it's too late. Most relationships don't die because people stop loving each other. They die because of mistakes that seem small until they're fatal. Here are 3 critical ones. 1. Expecting love to fix personal insecurities. When you expect someone else's love to heal your self-doubt, your loneliness, or your fear of being alone, you put pressure on them that no relationship can survive. No partner can fix what you refuse to face within yourself. 2. Prioritizing image over intimacy. When the relationship becomes more about looking good on social media, impressing friends, or hitting milestones, you lose sight of how you actually feel with each other. Surface love can't save a connection that's crumbling underneath. 3. Avoiding conflict to keep the peace. It feels easier to stay quiet, to let things slide, to choose your battles. But every time you avoid a real conversation out of fear of rocking the boat, you silently drift further away from each other. The truth? It's not usually the big mistakes that destroy love, it's the small ones you don't correct, until the distance feels permanent. What nobody tells you about love that you must know. We grow up on stories that teach us love is supposed to be effortless, that if you find the right person, everything falls into place. That real love means no doubts, no work, no pain. But the truth? Real love isn't effortless, real love is built, every single day. And here's what nobody tells you. 1. Love isn't enough if you're emotionally unavailable. You can love someone deeply and still destroy the relationship if you haven't done the inner work. Unhealed wounds leak into every argument. Fear of vulnerability blocks true intimacy. Past betrayals shape how you trust, even when your partner hasn't done anything wrong. Love without emotional availability isn't love that lasts, it's love that exhausts. 2. Chemistry isn't compatibility. It's easy to mistake excitement for emotional safety, but long-term love isn't just about butterflies. It's about trust, it's about respect, it's about choosing someone even when it's not easy. The strongest relationships are rooted in calm, not chaos. 3. Healing individually is non-negotiable. You cannot build a healthy we if your me is still bleeding. The work you avoid before the relationship will show up during the relationship. Louder, messier, and harder to ignore. Healing isn't something you do after heartbreak. It's something you do before trying to love again. 4. Love requires maintenance, not grand gestures. It's not the anniversary trips or the surprise gifts that sustain a relationship, it's the daily moments. Listening when it's uncomfortable. Apologizing when you're wrong, staying curious about each other instead of assuming you already know everything. Love is built in the quiet, ordinary spaces, not just the highlight reels. Nobody tells you this because fairy tales are easier to sell than emotional literacy, but the real magic, it's found in the relationships that choose growth over fantasy. Signs your relationship might be headed for silent failure. Not all relationships end with shouting matches and slammed doors. Sometimes they just slowly stop feeling like home. Here are a few subtle but powerful signs to watch for. 1. You feel alone. Even when you're together. You're sitting next to each other, but it feels like there's a wall between you. The conversations are shallow. The connection feels like it's slipping away, little by little. 2 small resentments are building up. It's not about the dirty dishes, it's about feeling disrespected. Unspoken frustrations pile up until the relationship feels heavy instead of safe. 3. You avoid bringing up issues. You don't want to ruin the mood, or you're afraid they'll get defensive, so you stay quiet about things that actually matter. And every silence builds another layer of distance. 4. There's more performance than presence. You're smiling for photos, posting cute updates. But privately, something feels empty. Because you're maintaining an image, not a real connection. If any of these feel familiar, your relationship might not be broken yet, but it's already bleeding. And the sooner you see it, the better chance you have to heal, whether that's together or apart. Hopeful perspective. How some couples turn it around. The good news? Just because a relationship is struggling doesn't mean it's doomed. Not every crack has to become a collapse. Not every period of distance has to end in goodbye. But healing doesn't happen by accident, it happens by choice, it happens by courage. Here's how some couples manage to rebuild, even after drifting apart. 1. They stop pretending and start talking. Instead of hiding the tension, they bring it into the light. They talk about the uncomfortable feelings. They admit when they feel distant. They ask hard questions like, how are you really feeling in this relationship? Honest conversation is where reconnection begins. 2. They own their individual healing. They realize love alone can't fix personal wounds. They go to therapy, they read, they reflect, they stop blaming each other for problems they haven't dealt with themselves. They understand, two broken halves don't make a whole. 3. They rebuild trust. Not just through promises but through actions. It's not the grand apologies that save a relationship, it's the consistency. It's the small, daily acts of presence and care that prove, I see you, I choose you, I'm willing to grow with you. They don't just say I love you, they show it. 4. They stay curious about each other. The moment you think you fully know your partner is the moment you stop connecting with who they're becoming. Couples who last, they stay curious. They ask real questions. They explore each other's evolving dreams, fears, and desires over and over again. Love doesn't stay alive because you catch someone once. It stays alive because you keep choosing to discover them again and again. No relationship is perfect, but the ones that last aren't the ones that never fall. They're the ones that choose to stand back up, together. Closing message. If this video resonated with you, it's not because you're broken, it's because deep down, you know, real love isn't easy, real love isn't effortless, real love is built and rebuilt with intention. Most relationships fail, not because people didn't love each other, but because they didn't know how to love each other in the ways that truly mattered. And if you've been hurt, if you've seen a connection slip through your fingers, I want you to know this. You're not too much, you're not too sensitive, you're not bad at love, you're waking up. You're learning what real connection requires, you're building the emotional muscles that no fairy tale ever taught you. And the best part? You're still capable of the kind of love that doesn't just survive, but thrives. Not because it's perfect, but because it's honest, because it's conscious, because it's chosen, again and again and again. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment below. Just say, I choose real connection. Let's create a space where people who believe in truth over fantasy can find each other. And if you want more real talk relationship guidance, not sugar-coated, not clickbait, hit that subscribe button and join this community, or give a like or comment on this video. Your best relationships aren't behind you. They're still waiting for the version of you that's willing to love, with eyes wide open.